Hey, while I've got you, Mick, I want to talk about some of these confirmation hearings that we've had in the last 12, 24 hours for Kash Patel and Tulsi Gabbard. Some fiery scenes up there on Capitol Hill. What did you make of these two, and do you think they'll get through?
I got to think, James, I'll take your second question first. I got to think that one of them, the three this week, were Bobby Kennedy, Kash Patel, and Tulsi Gabbard. And my gut is that one of them won't make it. Why? Because I think the Republicans in the Senate really want to sort of flex their muscles, their institutional muscles, and send the message down to Donald Trump that as much as they support him, they're not a rubber stamp. Personally, I think Bobby Kennedy is going to have the hardest time of it because he's got the weakest connection with Donald Trump. Kash Patel is one of Trump's favorites. There's no question. I think Kash probably gets through, and he performed extraordinarily well today. Tulsi Gabbard, newer to the Trump world, but still a stronger connection than Bobby Kennedy, and she's done very well. What you've seen in these hearings, especially this week, but across the board, James, much more assertive defenses of the Trump agenda than we had even back in 2017. I think I told you when I was nominated in 2017 and went through this same process to be in the cabinet, I was told to simply grin and bear it and not fight back. Just simply sit there, say yes, sir, to every senator, yes, ma'am, to everybody who attacks you, and then try and get the vote. So clearly it's a different memo this year, and you saw that aggressiveness, that assertiveness, that not backing down sort of mentality from the hearings this week.
Well, Mick, it's really fascinating. I'd love to get your take on this because when you faced that questioning in 2017, it feels like today in 2025, the quality of Senate queries, of the rhetoric of the debate in the Senate in that hearing room has really gone downhill. A lot of the Senate lines of questioning, it's just been grandstanding, speech making, illogical points, and just, making sure people sign up to a certain set of talking points rather than actual real interrogation of beliefs. Has the quality of the Senate gone down? It feels kind of like it hasn't been sending its best to these hearings.
Oh, James, that's a loaded question to a former member of the House. Of course, I think the Senate is a complete waste of time. No, and they're pompous and asking meaningless questions. But more seriously, look, so often, to get down in the weeds, so often in the first Trump administration, we would go to Mitch McConnell and say, we need to do X, Y, Z. And he would say, well, we just don't have enough time to do that in the Senate. Time is very valuable in the Senate, and we don't have time to do that. They spent their time this week, for example, talking to Pete Hegseth about drinking at a Christmas party in 2014. It's just absurd. Advise and consent, which is the clause in our Constitution that gives the Senate the right to approve these sorts of nominees, has really become a question of extort and delay. And there's a great deal of showboating. There's a lot of Democrats, by the way, James, this week, to your point, who didn't even ask a question. Sheldon Whitehouse did ask a question twice of Bobby Kennedy, by the way, who's his law school roommate, I learned this week. He talked for 5 minutes 2 times and didn't ask a question. He was simply trying to get content for his own social media page. So, yeah, do I think Senate confirmation needs to be severely reformed? Yes, I do. I think it's gotten out of hand. But that's a longer discussion for another day. Right now, the Trump team just wants to get through the confirmation process.
Mick Mulvaney, I look forward to having that and many other conversations with you in the future. Thanks so much for joining me on the U.S. Report.
Thanks, James.